All right, project management, and here we go. So this is a quick overview of co-construct, and you have just gotten your first project, and what do you do? So this is the main menu. This is what I see daily. Uh, you might only have one project in this active here. I see all of them, but as you go, you're going to have a lot more. The prospect down here is you're not going to have any. These are going to be the ones that are in process of going into contract. You might be toggled onto one of these if one of the salespersons has a question, or it's about to go into active and they're giving you a heads up to take a look at it. So you might only have one line item on both in the beginning. As you get going, we want you to have as much as you want up here, because that means you're rocking and rolling. So let's just do a brief overview of what co-construct is and how to get around. So we're going to go into this one because this hasn't even started yet. And it's going to be just like how you're going to get one. So here we go. Seagrave Burlington. This is actually going to go out in a couple months. So this is the dashboard. You're going to see the salespeople always need to put a shot from the road. So when you drive past, you're like, hey, that house looks familiar. You know you're at the right house. So it's usually a street view from Google. So the first thing you want to do is just to get accustomed to what has been said in the sales process, what's in there. And you want to do this even before you talk to the salesperson, just to get an idea. And obviously, you know your way around a little bit about co-construct, but I'm just going to go over, the nuts and the bolts here. This is still in the sales process, and this will be, this should be finished by the time you get it, and you're going to put your own schedule in. But right now, we're just going to go over it. So the first thing I like to do is jump right into specs and selections. And let's see what this project's about, right? Now, there's always admin in the front. This admin section where it's great. You need to read it to understand it. So if there's questions by the client, but once you know what's in here, and there's the introduction, it talks about co-construct, what to expect. If they're reading this, you need to know change orders and contingency, all that stuff. But once you've read that, you wanted the quickest thing, a little trick. You just want to minimize it. Boom, right? You want to minimize the payments, and now you're in the nuts and the bolts of the project. And now you can kind of read what's going on here. You got a cabinet installation, right? So we know it's a kitchen, and obviously you can look at the photos too. But this is it. You got 43 linear feet of cabinets, and you can see, okay, the Express Kitchens quoted at $3,300 for the install. So that's already been done. The salesperson actually already set you up with that. You got a ceiling height of 8 feet. Crown molding's going to the ceiling. Oh, good. You got plans in here. You got pictures. All the stuff here. So now you're like, okay, well, what's going on in here? Let me just jump in here and let me view these comments to see if, anything I should know about as a project manager. And you can see that you have Jennifer from Express Kitchens was talking about she added some stuff, and then the customer was here and they talked and so forth, and they were going back and forth, and really, you can kind of just get up to date with what happened there. Usually it's pretty general, but you can get an idea of if there are some major changes. And you're going to keep scrolling the material, right? So the material, you can see right away that the Express was a quote for $11,000. That's already in there, and you don't need to go get this quoted out. So this job starts off to being a little bit easier. The same thing with the countertop quartz, and you can keep going. You just want to read. new kitchen area, interior, we're doing painting. We're going to remove some of the popcorn ceiling. There's a kitchen backsplash. Just kind of getting your idea of what's in this project. And so on. And then you can see what they've chosen for allowances. They got $480 for the ceramic tile. Probably a little low. So on your walkthrough, you might want to, keep that in mind. Make some notes at this point of what you're thinking about, But this is in contract. Another way to go about this is you can actually look at the proposal here and see and make sure obviously it's signed and all that stuff. So you can kind of go through, read all of this, line by line, get your head around. Here's a couple other ways. I like to do, sometimes when you're done, you can minimize it, right? So you can be like, all right, I'm done with that section, done with that section. All right, I got kitchen floor, wood floor finishing, and go on. Okay, good, I'm done with that. Everything looks pretty good. A couple other things you can look at, which is kind of cool, is estimates. Look at the estimate there. Now this is just like one big, all your numbers, and I like this section because then you can see on a quick thing. I've got 19 grand for the cabinets and countertops installation, all of that 19 grand, 10 grand for the finishes, because this is what you got to get the project done for. If you scroll over, that's the retail price. You can also scroll down and see what you're making on the project. Here, right? So $6,600. So, but this is the key. This is kind of the key parts of where the money is, and you want to have an idea. You got $3,700 for the plumbing, $2,800 for the electric, the heat, etc., etc. We got a beam installation. This is a good way to really get your head wrapped around the project. Another spot, which is even easier, and then again, these open up, and you can see exactly what each line item was, which is great. And then you can actually click on these sections, and it's going to bring you to that specs and selection. You can read what actually was put in by the salesperson. And then the other way you can look at it is the budget, and the budget's kind of a cool. This is what you're going to see when you put in your purchase orders. You're going to see those filling out as the committed. So another way to look at, okay, I got siding and trim, window $1,600, partition wall $3,000. Like you can see in that way. Again, you can break this down and look at, and then also look at the labor material, see what it is, and then you can click on that, and it's going to bring you to the spec. So if you have questions. So sometimes, once you get accustomed to it, you might read everything through the budget or read everything through the estimate, and if you have a question, you can jump right into that spec and be like, what did the salesperson actually fill out there, and what were they thinking? What actually is this? So 2 ways to review a project. You are going to then talk to the salesperson prior to the handoff. You don't want to have questions with the client in front of you. You want to have that united front, and I know that's a whole other training is the handoff, but this is where you want to really understand. You might even ask the production manager. You might ask the salesperson themselves, hey, do you have a quick Zoom call or a Google Meet where you can do a screen share and say, have a couple questions of what's going on here. I can't figure it out. Again, you can jump in there and look at the photos too. So, you can do the view all and see, that might be able to answer some questions, to jump in here and see, okay, let me look at, this is the existing kitchen. Okay, you can figure stuff out. But you want to talk to, that salesperson and iron out as many details as you can. So when you do the handoff, you can clarify the remaining questions. So that's the overview. Your production manager is going to give you a chance to take a look at everything prior. And then we're going to have, we'll show you how to do the scheduling, the bids, the purchase orders, all that stuff in other videos. One other thing I do want to show you in this one though is the messages, and you want to just check your messages. These are really good. Just read what's happened over the project. A lot of it isn't, necessarily, you don't need, but it's a quick. You can kind of feel what that client's gonna be. Thanks, Dave. Like you can, or are they really like, what's this, what's that? Are they, just kind of read over the messages, and you can kind of take the temperature of what type of person they are and how you're going to go about the project. They might be super relaxed and you might be fine, or they might be asking a lot of questions, and you're going to have to really be ready to answer stuff. So that's it. Till the next one. Thanks, guys.